Hey everyone, welcome to Pastor Play. So today we have My Name is Monique, starring Monique, currently streaming on Netflix. And first, let me start off by saying I felt like there were a lot of the N word and B word right off the bat in the beginning, to the point that I wanted to start counting how many times she was saying it, like in the first 5 to 10 minutes. And I don't have a problem with those words being used. I just thought that she was just using a lot of it, like right off the bat, like very aggressively. Um, Maybe I thought unnecessarily, but I mean, she wrote this with her husband. So, she knows what she's doing. But I just thought it was like, damn, that's a lot of those two words specifically. But about 20 minutes in, I was like, okay, I got used to it. And she started to spread it out a little bit more throughout the overall special. Maybe she just needed to say it to get it off her chest, to kind of dial in for the special ahead, for what she was about to get off her chest, for what she was about to say. She didn't seem nervous to me, but who knows? Only she knows how she really felt in that moment. And either way, Monique is a seasoned comic and actress and host and overall personality and force. And overall, just put some respect on her name. So either way, she does what she wants to do. I'm glad that her and Netflix were able to get to some agreement, and she was able to get an amount that she felt that she deserved and that fit her experience and her seasonedness as a comic. And I will say, starting off too, when people tell me something, I evaluate the information. So we find out that Monique was in special ed, but her mother was illiterate and couldn't read. And then I just thought about all the other people in the house, the grandmother, Uncle Tina, Uncle Donald, or either one of her brothers, even though quite possibly maybe they had problems reading too, or they weren't as good readers. I do know that schools get extra funding or funding specifically for kids who are in special ed, and the school may have been just taking advantage and they kind of got away with it. If they had sent a letter, maybe it was overlooked, or maybe it was never received. Who knows? Or maybe they didn't even bother sending it at all. They were just doing it for the funds, and they just figured they could just get away with it. And it seems like Monique didn't necessarily say anything to her mom, to her grandmother necessarily. And I think she was in it for at least 3 years. So she was okay with it. She's like, this is gonna be easy. So I just thought that was interesting, that if that was the case, and that speaks to that, to how things are just done shady. It's just some shady mess right there. Now that lolly pad joke had me cracking up. And that works both ways for both men and women. If you want others to play with your lolly pad, please make sure it's clean and does not smell. And but that joke had me rolling. Now she talks about this instance where she basically sucks a male's genitalia for the first time, and basically that she she believes that there's literally bombs in his dick, the bombs in his dick joke, and her being labeled an emotionally distressed person and put into a straitjacket when she bites down on his genitalia and he hits her, she ends up calling the cops. And that's basically how that circumstance goes, because she does kind of sound a little crazy, saying that he literally had, bombs in his dick and it's a terrorist, and she's saving the place. But the fact that they're like butt naked apparently in front of the cops, I'm like, they didn't put on a towel or a blanket or anything to try to cover up. Then the fact that she got submitted to the psych ward for 72 hours because she literally thought that he had bombs in his genitalia, which is the information that her grandmother gave her, which is basically not to do that, not to suck a dick. I don't even know I can say that on Netflix. I mean, on Netflix. I don't even know I can say that on YouTube. Hopefully this won't get taken down. But I just thought that joke was funny because she just believed what her grandmother told her, and that's what her grandmother said, and she believed it up until she had that kind of, I guess you call it, real reality check moment where, oh, that information is not true. And well, to an extent, he didn't have bombs in his, but I can't. But I will say that her candidness and candor towards the relationship with her grandmother, and then watching how her grandmother treated her daughter slash Uncle Tina like a sin because of what the church said, and I guess kind of overriding what the church ideologies were and beliefs were over just the fact that you should just love your daughter for who she is and let her know that she 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 is beautiful, she's important, and she's worth love and being loved and loving, and even Uncle Donald as well. But I guess Uncle Donald, maybe, well, Uncle Donald was treated not great either, but it seems like, I guess maybe Uncle Tina maybe took it a little bit more hurt, maybe more to heart than Uncle Donald did to a certain extent. But they both were treated the same, more or less. Maybe it was just how Uncle Tina internalized it versus how Uncle Donald did. So, but I thought she had a really great message there for basically, accept and own who you are, no matter what people tell you. Be yourself, love yourself, own yourself, and walk in your truth, and don't let anybody tell you any difference. And then we get to her revelation of her attraction to women, but not going there because she wants it. She wants head from a woman, but she's not willing basically to do it to other women. She was like, "Thank you for doing it to me, but I'm not going to do it to you." But she would offer you a beverage. You want something to eat, want some food to eat. Thank you. Have a good day. Right. She said you were beautiful, kind, and important. Right. But she's like, I want it done to me, but I'm not interested in doing it to other women. She said she did. She said because I did. I don't want to get in trouble because they're gonna say that I don't have equality and whatnot. So I thought that was really funny. So I guess she's kind of admitting to at least being attracted to women or interested in experimenting with women to a certain extent. I guess, but not fully being that invested in it. I guess in the bigger sense. So I was like, okay, but also being afraid to tell her grandmother that because of how close that they were and how her grandmother treated her like a prized possession in her eyes, and how she cared and loved and adored her. So I mean, I thought that was very interesting. It's to see that contrast of how she was treated versus how her Uncle Tina was. And overall, I laughed and thought there were some really funny moments, but I wasn't brought to tears from laughter, even though some people in the audience were. It seemed some people were cracking up. I have This is like a weird thing because I've told this to many friends and people, and they be like, "That never happens to me." Like I have laughed so hard sometimes that my back, like the middle of my back, ends up itching. Like I laugh so hard. Like I don't think I've like necessarily laughed and cried per se, but I've laughed to the point where like my back is itching, and I wasn't laughing to that extent. And I don't know, that's just me. Like I was just laughing so hard, like it wasn't like I was trying to make my back itch, but that's like what happened. And it's happened multiple times where something was so funny that I was just like so like engulfed in laughter that I'm like my back started to itch. I don't know. Maybe that's my funny bone. I have no idea what to tell you. But either way, I wasn't laughing like that. There were some moments that were really funny that really tickled me. And I think it's also based on perception, how closely you relate to the different subject matters of what she's saying, and how funny you see that. How closely you relate to those circumstances or those dynamics of what she's specifically referring to. But overall, I thought that it was funny. Um, but again, I wasn't brought to tears from laughter. But And two, I also thought that the director slash direction, cameraman, camerawoman did a really good job of knowing when to zoom out on her and when to zoom in to give those close up moments when Monique was being really candid and honest about her family and herself and just kind of overall telling you her life journey, her life story. It gave a kind of immersive quality seeing how emotional Monique was. Like you could tell at some moments she was kind of holding back tears, her eyes were watering up, and she was kind of stopping herself from crying. I felt like it was a testimonial in a lot of ways, like, can I speak to the congregation kind of moments. And you'd be like, people were like, yes, sister, yes, speak on it, let it be free, let it off your chest. And overall, her personality really showed. I thought she was candid again and personable, and you got insight into her and a better understanding of her as a woman and overall just a person. It was an honest journey throughout moments of her life that just gave insight into the building blocks of how she came to be the woman that she is today, the women that helped her or who she role modeled after, the men, and you just gotta. I think she did a good kind of navigation. Um, I also too feel like you gotta. I mean a little bit. I don't feel like they dove really that deep into it, but I do also feel like you got a better understanding of her relationship with her husband and how much they respect and love each other and demand it in their business endeavors. I don't know them personally, but there seems to be a directness that they have with each other that some people don't like in Hollywood or general for that matter. So the way that they talk and direct or with each other is the way that I believe they also handle their business. And that makes people uncomfortable when you're that honest or you're that direct or blunt, which I guess I can understand maybe why some people have been rubbed the wrong way. Because sometimes if you really are direct and honest, but that's how they operate, they live in that, like the living in your truth aspect. Monique has never backed down about anything that she said. She's remained constant in what she says and believes, and so that can be turned off with certain types of people, especially if they're like fake or shady or dishonest, manipulative. Certain traits they don't like those types of individuals. It can be, I don't know. I guess it could be offensive depending on how you operate. If someone's really direct and honest and you're not, then yeah, it can be taken the wrong way. But again, I think that's how they operate in business because that's how they operate with each other. But I think it depends on who they're specifically dealing with and how it's taken. Um, there's this part, a little bit towards the end, when she's like, when Monique says, when you're born a fat and black girl, all you want is validation and acceptance. But I think it was great that overall you just learned that she basically learned that she had to accept and have validation within herself and from herself, and not necessarily relying on others to give that to her. It's her life and her story. And no, she's not any of these other comedians. No, she's not these other people. This is her life. This is her journey. These are the things that she's learned and lived and survived and overcome. And her name is Monique. And I think that, I mean, she said it, but the stories, the navigation, the connecting tissues of it all, it very much relates into the title. And I don't think she was trying to really, I think she was just telling you, giving you more insight to who she is again as a woman, as a black woman, an African American woman, a mother, a wife, a daughter, a niece, and all these different roles and titles that she has. I think watching this overall, I mean, I had a great time. Again, it's like this. It was like comedy slash testimonial. but I enjoyed it. I had a really great time. I hope she does get another special. I hope this is very successful. And I hope that there's just, better things to come. I did review, oh Lord, what is that called? I can't, her BET Plus movie. I can't even think of it right now. The Reading. Okay, there you go. The Reading. I did review The Reading. I overall liked her performance in it. I thought she was the best part of that movie. And even though I haven't seen her on BMF, I believe I haven't seen that, so I can't speak on that. But I'm glad to see that she's having a resurgence and things are kind of turning the corner, and she can, get past all of this mess, previous mess with the different individuals. I'm not going into all that, but I'm overall happy with the special. I watched it twice. I kind of watched it the first time just to watch it, and then just watch it as a viewer, and then I kind of go in and just watch it again, where I kind of take my notes and different things like that. But I overall liked it. I liked it the second time. I think she gave some very good, learn from me, see my point of view, see how I got to where I am, who I came to be, and it's like a little bit comedy slash retrospective journey of my life, like my life, my journey. Mary J. Blige, the album My Life, could have been playing in the background. I will say one thing is, I know sometimes with, like, when I think of Cat Williams, he has a different backgrounds and setups. Sometimes now you don't necessarily always need that. Her personality was there. Her showing you who she was there. I wish there was maybe more of a background that kind of contrasted that to whatever that would have looked like as far as like the stage production. I think it was cool that she had a glass of water that she never drank. She did get the towel because most, the lights are hot, and most comedians, they always sweating because the lights are so dang hot and it's beamed on them. But yeah, I wish that maybe the production value in the background. I mean, and she didn't need it, but I think it would have been some kind of cool contrast of maybe pictures from when she was younger, or maybe like a family photos, a couple photos of her or different family members. I don't know, whatever that would have looked like to contrast to My Name is Monique, and whatever, and kind of contrast to what she was saying. I think that would have been nice. But other than that, like, that's really it. I didn't think it was bad. I thought it was overall great. I mean, I don't really give reviews necessarily on stuff like this. It's just, I mean, it would be a play for me, but I'm not, again, I think I think she did great. I hope she does get another special, and then she can do, other material where I feel like she's trying to go back to maybe try to explain herself and whatnot. Even though she just gave you insight to who she is and how she came to be, um, to the woman that she is today. But other than that, if you like this, hit the like button, help the channel grow, subscribe, check out my review of The Reading if you haven't seen it. Thank you for watching. If you stayed this far through, again, hit the like button if you like this review. Please subscribe. Check out some of the other videos. Other than that, I will see you next time. Goodbye.